Summary of the Gospel of Mark. The Gospel of Mark is the shortest of the four Gospels, and is known for its fast-paced, action-oriented narrative. It focuses on the identity of Jesus as the Son of God and the messianic secret, where Jesus often commands people not to reveal his identity. Part 1, The Ministry of Jesus, chapters 1 to 8. The Gospel begins abruptly with the ministry of Jesus. Baptism and Temptation, chapter 1. John the Baptist prepares the way for Jesus, who is baptized by him. A voice from heaven declares, "You are my Son, whom I love. With you I am well pleased." Jesus is then tempted by Satan in the wilderness. Galilean Ministry, chapters 1 to 6. Jesus begins his ministry in Galilee, calling his first disciples Peter, Andrew, James, and John. He performs numerous miracles, including healing the sick, casting out demons, and calming the storm. He also teaches in parables, often explaining their meaning only to his disciples. The religious leaders, particularly the Pharisees, begin to oppose him, questioning his authority and actions. Feeding the multitudes, chapters 6 to 8. Jesus miraculously feeds 5,000 people and later 4,000 people with just a few loaves and fish. These events demonstrate his power and compassion. The disciples, however, struggle to understand the significance of these miracles. Peter's confession, chapter 8. In a pivotal moment, Jesus asks his disciples, "Who do you say I am?" Peter declares, "You are the Messiah." This is a turning point, as Jesus begins to explain that he must suffer, be rejected, and be killed. This concept is difficult for the disciples to accept. Part 2, The Journey to Jerusalem and the Passion, chapters 9 to 16. The focus shifts to Jesus' impending suffering and death. Transfiguration and Journey to Jerusalem, chapters 9 to 10. Jesus is transfigured on a mountain, revealing his divine glory to Peter, James, and John. He again predicts his suffering and death, but his disciples continue to misunderstand his mission, arguing among themselves about who is the greatest. Entry into Jerusalem and Temple Actions, chapters 11 to 12. Jesus triumphantly enters Jerusalem on a donkey, fulfilling prophecy. He cleanses the temple, driving out merchants and money changers, and confronts religious leaders who challenge his authority. The Last Supper and Betrayal, chapters 14. Jesus celebrates the Passover with his disciples, instituting the Last Supper. He predicts his betrayal by one of his disciples and Peter's denial. In the Garden of Gethsemane, he prays in agony before being arrested. Trial, Crucifixion, and Death, chapters 14 to 15. Jesus is tried before the Sanhedrin and Pontius Pilate. He is mocked, beaten, and crucified. The centurion at the foot of the cross, seeing how Jesus died, declares, "Surely this man was the Son of God." This is a key moment, as a Gentile outsider recognizes Jesus' identity. Resurrection and the Empty Tomb, chapter 16. On the third day, women go to the tomb to anoint Jesus' body. They find the tomb empty and a young man in a white robe tells them that Jesus has been raised from the dead. He instructs them to tell the disciples, particularly Peter, that Jesus is going ahead of them to Galilee. The final verses of Mark are debated by scholars, with some versions ending at verse 8 and others including additional verses that describe Jesus' post-resurrection appearances. Overall, the Gospel of Mark presents a powerful and dramatic portrait of Jesus as the suffering Son of God, whose true identity is revealed not through worldly power, but through his sacrificial death and resurrection.